What question do you have that nobody has been able to give you a good answer to? How many generations does it take to disregard incest? We are all related distantly, so how many? Like 5? 8? Why are dreams so weird? Why does plastic turn white when you bend it? What is actually happening at the molecular level up until the break? Do different polymers and their associated dyes still turn white? It really depends on the type of plastic. Take a garbage bag. You've got these long polymeric chains that are all mixed around like a bowl of spaghetti. When you pull on that plastic and stretch it, you break the weak van der Waals bonds between the chains and align the chains. This surely changes the way light refracts, though I didn't study light refraction much because mechanical properties are more important. When the bag is stretched to its limit, it gets harder to pull apart. This is because the chains are aligned and you're not pulling on wimpy van der Waals bonds anymore. Now you're pulling on strong covalent bonds. And when you overcome the force to break those, the chains and thus the bag break. So the lightening of the plastic from flexing likely comes from the polymeric chains being more aligned and changing light refraction. Source: a materials science engineer, but it's been years since I was in school learning this. Why are swear cuss bad words bad? How did it become that way and who made them bad? In the Netherlands, many cuss words are wishing horrible diseases to people, and that's bad. What should I do with my life? Something that meets these requirements. A. Pays enough to support your chosen lifestyle. B. Has a schedule that allows you free time to enjoy said lifestyle. C. Doesn't make you hate yourself in the morning. How to get a good haircut. People always just say, oh, bring in a picture of what you want. But I don't ducking know what's going to be good. And when I have chosen something from the first Google image page of hairstyles for men, go to a barber. Not a hairstylist. Not some chain hairstyle place. An actual barber. Tell them what you want. Allow them to make adjustments. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm trying to find a good hairstyle for me. Can you hook me up with something that looks good on me? Why are my hands constantly cold? Edit. Half of these comments say that I have bad posture and or have another problem. I have a family member who always has cold hands and feet. They have Raynaud's syndrome. It's a, usually, not serious condition that means the blood doesn't flow properly to their extremities, resulting in coldness. Why does my stainless steel razor get blunted by some hair stubble on my throat with only 1 minute of use? Good cutting edge is thin. Very, very thin. And commensurately weak and prone to bending. In the same way that your weak organic flesh can bend a metal spoon that is objectively harder than you are, because the metal is thin. The nanometer thin cutting edge of a razor can be bent by hairs. Once burrs and nicks have built up on a blade edge, it becomes much less efficient at cutting. As the lead edge that paired objects apart is now, say, 3-10x wider than before and takes that much more effort to make the cut. This won't literally happen in a minute of use, but it will happen over time. A secondary effect for a razor is you can get gunk stuck on the blade, but rinsing it off should restore function. What do you do if you're stuck at a red light and there's an EMV with sirens on behind you? What happens if you donate your hair to someone and they commit a crime, leaving your hair at the crime scene? When hair is used in DNA testing, they aren't actually using the hair, but the small follicle of skin at the root of the hair. When donating hair, they cut the hair off, not extracting the root of the hair. No root, no DNA to collect. If a Tesla's autopilot makes sure you're not too close to something, would it help you avoid a cop car that's trying to pit you? Asked this in our Tesla and got shamed for not owning a Tesla, but it was never answered. Just say you were in a police chase and your Tesla avoided all attempts at the police stopping you. People love to disprove others online. Just wanna say great thread. One of the more interesting ones I've seen in years. What do DJs actually do? When you watch a video of them playing their turntables, they do all sorts of stuff. Turning knobs, pressing buttons, moving sliders up and down, etc. It all looks very showy, but as far as I can tell, none of it has any discernible effect on the music. Like they'll grab some random knob and turn it and start dancing like that with some really sick shit. But absolutely nothing happened to the beat, timbre, pitch, melody, etc. Sometimes they're setting up and queuing the next track to drop in on the opportune moment. That's done on their headphones, so you won't hear it till they want you to hear it. Are symphony conductors really necessary? They wave their arms around and the little stick, but none of the musicians are even looking at them. As someone who's played in a professional orchestra, yes, skilled orchestra can play without a conductor. In fact, when the orchestra first became a thing, they didn't have conductors to begin with. The concertmaster, first chair violinist, would start and stop the group. In my group, our conductor will actually sometimes stop conducting during rehearsal and just go out into the audience and listen. Lol. However, when we play without a conductor, the chance of errors and sections getting out of sync is much higher, because we're relying solely on our ears to tell us if we're playing in time. And in an orchestra, there's a lot of different parts that have to sync up. A lot of different stuff you have to listen to. If we do start to fall apart when we're playing without a conductor, it's almost impossible to get back together. If gravity bends light, how do we know anything in the far reaches of the universe is actually located where we think it is? I'd assume it's because we can calculate the bending of the light. I don't actually know though. What does the US national debt really mean? Who do we owe? What is the impact of the debt? What risks does it impose? Why clean dishes glasses acquire an abhorrent smell sometimes, especially in summer if a window is open. Weirder still, not everyone seems to be able to smell it. Probably means your sponge is dirty. I used to have one as a child. What are those weird looking things you could see when you are kinda looking directly at sunlight? They look like transparent centipedes and circle bugs with definite boundary but transparent as a glass. I thought I had special powers and could see all the microorganisms like bacteria and virus and whatnot. And later I came to know that they are just impurities inside your eye and you could see them when exposed at an angle to the light. Now that we're in a pandemic, they are called floaters or musky volatants. They're not foreign materials, but bits of your own body that break loose, such as tiny portions of tissue, red blood cells, or protein, and end up in the gel-like vitreous humor that fills the space between the lens and the retina. How do I fall asleep easily? This works in minutes for me. Play some chill music on your phone at low volume and put it about a foot away. I like stuff like Football Head by Flamingosas and similar stuff. I think the genre is called lofi. Imagine you can fly just by opening your arms. Imagine taking a tour of your neighborhood or city from the air or flying over your friends' houses and over places you know of. Imagine as much detail as you can. I fall asleep in like 5 minutes tops. What is enjoyable about cheating in online games? I knew a guy that used wall hacks and aimbot on Counter-Strike. Way back when it was still a Half-Life mod. He wasn't trying to win games. He just found it funny. It was trolling. He'd see how long it took for people to notice, and then argue with them when they called him out. Why is my speaker making this annoying whining sound? So I had a pimple on my nose a few years ago and popped it. It's left behind a bump. Like an air bump which won't go. So far no one's been able to give me an answer on how to get rid of it. Go see a dermatologist please. It could be 1. An oil pocket, 2. A blood pocket, 3. Scar tissue. As another poster said, please see a dermatologist. What existed before the Big Bang? What was there? Did anything else exist before our universe? The Big Four play? What were electric eels called before electricity was invented? Edit. For all the people. In Patrick's voice, saying electricity wasn't invented, it was discovered. Lee, you all are annoying. Sorry, I'm not Bill Nye the Science Guy. Zappy worms. What do British people throw at strippers? All of their singles are coins. They throw tea bags. How do you know that the color orange you see is the same color orange I see? Does this mean that color is just a pigment of your imagination? If I slapped a chicken enough to cook it, would I also cook my hand? Yes. How does it feel having threesome? Nobody in my circle have experience. You have to figure out ground rules. Mine was more exhausting than fun. The two girls did not interact at all. I just had to have sex twice quickly while someone watched. Someone usually gets left out, but it's best when you're all just friends. And FFF is the most sexual fun I've ever had in my life. Do people who are 100% physically healthy exist? Edit. For the smartesses out there. People lacking any identifiable disease, defect or disorder that has or may have a negative effect on their well-being. How does gravity work? The annoying thing is that there's two possible explanations. One that posits that gravity is a thing like magnetism but that every atom has. And one that posits that gravity isn't a force but a feature of atoms that distorts space around them. And the fact that these are so different yet neither has been proven wrong should tell you how much we know about gravity. Why does déjà vu seem so accurate and creepy? Why do people need to solve mathematical equations to mine Bitcoin? The mathematical problems are all part of a concept called proof of work. The mathematical problems are hard to solve but easy to verify. They're used to prevent fraudulent Bitcoin transactions from being added to the blockchain ledger. If, for example, you wanted to fraudulently add some transactions to the network, you'd need to expend computing power to solve the proof of work, but it can be easily checked by another node on the network. If it's found to be fraudulent, the transaction block is rejected. What is the opposite of Florida man? Okay, so let's work this out. We associate the Florida man with bizarre criminal acts. Florida is a rich hub of Western society. So I propose a potential antithesis of this could be Myanmar girl. Despite their recent troubles, Myanmar is a country that was once voted as having some of the most caring, altruistic people in the world. It is neither in the West nor is it a hub of anything. And young girl is sort of the opposite of grown man. Myanmar girl protects parents from wild boar attack. Donates pig carcasses to village feast. Why is this NSFW? What if one of the questions was how to clean your ass before an L? Where was Gondor when the Westfold fell? Gondor was defending the passes of Anduin the Great at Caer Andros and Osgiliath and was in no position to offer military aid to the west of Rohan. This applies to both the movies and the books. How fish have sex? I've never seen an adult book where it shows how they have sex. Edit. Think these type of questions had to make this post NSFW. Edit. They don't. Ladyfish drops eggs. Dude fish just kinda squirts his load all over the eggs. Then bam. Why does the US president have the authority to pardon people? I've tried to Google it and couldn't find a real answer. Why is this person able to put someone else above the law? And how did this rule come to be? Is poopy spelled like that or poopy? I think it's both. You can say he has a poopy diaper or did you make a poopy? Why is the Gryffindor house symbol a lion and not a griffin? Everyone tells me a lion is brave but a griffin is literally part lion and we know they exist in the Harry Potter universe. Lots of people also point to Hufflepuff being a badger but Potter nerds seem to say Hufflepuffs are an exception to almost everything else. Someone give me one good, definitive reason it's not a griffin that I have no rebuttal towards. Maybe Godric Gryffindor just really loved lions and hated griffins because he got bullied for his name as a kid. If your name is Christopher White, you're neither obligated to be a Christian nor have to pretend white is your favorite color. Why can't you triple stamp a double stamp Lloyd? In the United States, if instead of going through the effort of figuring out my taxes, I just send the IRS $10,000, won't they do the math and return the proper amount to me? Lol. No. They would just send the $10K back, or worse hold on to it pending an investigation. And likely investigate how you got the 10k leading to more paperwork. Nope. You'd be investigated for tax fraud and or failure to pay taxes. You have to fill out the form. They won't do it for you. This was attempted, but the large tax prep companies lobbied to get the bill blocked. This does occur in a lot of other countries, and for 99% of the population it could be an incredibly easy process. Check invoice from IRS every year and you either settle it or dispute it. Why the hell does my code not work? You're missing a semicolon and line 1378. Edit. What justification is there for drivers to monopolize the passing lane on highways, traveling under the speed limit and not seeming to care how it restricts traffic flow and annoys others? Most people really are oblivious to their surroundings. Just look at people with their shopping cart at the grocery blocking the whole aisle. Earworms. Why do I sometimes wake up with a song I haven't heard in 20 years and never liked in the first place? Why did Adele set fire to the rain? Moreover, how? How did Adele set fire to the rain? What would a gender fluid parent be called? I think the answer is apparent. Transparent. When I was a child, I called my parents parental unit because I was a little shitty. It seems it would work well in this case. Honey, where have you been yesterday? Honey, where is my super suit? Why do people type such long answers to questions when they don't actually know the answer? The desire to help is greater than the ability to help. What can I do when my girl is on her period? This is a subject everyone dodges when I'm asking about. Ask her if she wants painkillers or maybe a hot water bottle. If she wants company or if she wants to be alone. Periods are different from girl to girl, so find out how it is for her and adjust. Why do I find Gollum attractive? Well, I've heard people claim that large eyes are considered an attractive feature. I think they were talking about anime and Snapchat filters. So if that's true, you may be drawn in by his big beautiful blue eyes. Why am I spending my time taking care of equipment and helping random people I don't know who will sometimes hand me change for their gratitude when I could be sitting on a beach with my tits out and listening to Sublime? How does your brain get smart but your head gets dumb? If I suddenly wake up the opposite gender, would I like guys since I'm straight or be lesbian since I like women? That's basically asking how much of your sexual preference is genetic and how much is from nurture. The answer is, we just don't know. Well, it's still you but different body, so lesbian. How sex work isn't inherently traumatic. I think sex work should be 100% legal. But there's a reason sex crimes have harsher punishments. Whether you're educated or not, everyone understands sexuality is a core part of a person and being violated sexually is uniquely traumatic. Every job requires you to do things you don't want to, including sex work. Which means part of the job is voluntarily violating yourself sexually. The point isn't the morality of it. The point is it's inherently damaging, and no, it's not same as having to do office work you don't want to do. It's bizarre to me how many people that rage about how sex work is legitimate work, but can't admit this. Who is your daddy? And what does he do? Why do we all agree the money is valuable? When I first started teaching, I created fake money to reward my first graders. They loved it and wanted the cash to buy stuff from my toy crate on Fridays. I thought it was so foolish that they actually valued these bills I gave them. But it's not much different from the artificial economy we have created in society. Our money is valuable because we have all bought into it. Just like my students did. They loved it and wanted the cash to buy stuff from my toy crate on Fridays. I thought it was so foolish that they actually valued these bills I gave them. I gave them objects with a distinct use. And the kids valued them for that use. And I thought that was very silly. What is Wyoming? I'll do you one better. Why is Wyoming? Edit. Deleting the question because there are too many people making assumptions. And I seriously don't have the patience to deal with nitwits. Adam and Eve had a lot more children than Cain. Abel. and Seth. 33 sons and 23 daughters. According to the works of Josephus. My trolling answer is that the Bible doesn't say that God didn't create other people after Adam and Eve. Prove to me God is real. Proof is the product of manipulating axioms and arriving at a conclusion. 1. God is one of those axioms. For believers. 2. No God is an axiom for atheists. 3. Kurt Gödel proved that no human system of reason can be both correct and all-encompassing. 4. No such proof, or disproof, is possible. How is the stock market not just gambling? If a poison is past its expiration date, is it more lethal or less? Expiration dates are so arbitrary that you can't really answer that. Take Himalaya salt. It's been in those mountains for millennia. Lucky they found it just in time, because 1 year later it would be past the expiration date. In COD Warzone. Why doesn't it show the teammates you just played with at the top of your recent players list after a game? Why aren't there dog-cat pharmacies? Not enough of a market to break away from general vethood. What should I know before purchasing my first car? Apart stupid stuff says look at if seats are clean. The engine will be clean too, or anyway you'll end up making mistakes. No one around me has been able to give me proper advice. Semicolon. Edit. Corrected typo. Thank you for the replies everyone. Most hurtful reply when I asked for advice was get yourself a dad. Look at the underbody. Rust hides even on really nice looking cars. Check the interior for smells. Too nice could be covering something nasty, and water spots damage. Look at the tread depth on the tires. Take it for a ride and listen for strange knocks. How the car tracks with your hands off the steering wheel. Too much road noise. Acceleration braking. Etc. A code reader will let you know if the car has any existing electrical issues. Or if they've recently cleared the codes to make the car look like it has no issues. How are you? Everybody just straight up lies. Though I understand it. Living the dream. As I have been working for 43 hours straight and am fueled by so much caffeine and self-hatred, I feel like a car that's backfiring. What's SX like and how the duck do I do it? It's hot and exciting. Find someone you like and comfortable with. Who let the dogs out? What is the gay trans agenda? I've certainly not been clued in on it. Yet I hear about it all the time. My understanding is that the gay agenda is to make it socially acceptable for people to be gay. That's it. Funny thing is, that's a threat or an issue for some people. Create a world where people don't face discrimination or hate for their gender or sexuality. Then eat cake and paint rainbows everywhere. What does it mean to say gender is a social construct? Everyone agrees a person's gender identity isn't just what social stereotypes and norms they fit. But then what aspect of gender is socially constructed? The stereotypes are all bunk, so if it isn't those, then what part is it? If I took a trans person and dumped them in a parallel universe where all the gender norms and stereotypes were flipped, would they still be trans in that universe? Would they still experience dysphoria? I would imagine they still would, because dysphoria is usually described as feeling like the blueprints for your body that your brain is working from don't match up. Or something like that. That seems nothing to do with anything socially constructed to me. Better way of putting it would be to say gender roles are a social construct.